Titans fans, if you're a real one, I want to hear you down in the comments. Type real one for a chance at a shout out on a future show. And at the end of the video, we have a special offer for you. I promise you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned for a special offer at the end of this video. Here is what's coming up on today's show. Is Jeffery Simmons in for a massive extension? We're going to talk about what an extension might look like for one of the best defensive players in the National Football League. Also, is Ryan Tannehill on the hot seat? His backup rookie quarterback Malik Willis looked very, very good in his NFL debut. And is Geoff Swaim on the way out? We'll get into that in a second. Somebody thinks that the Titans might look to trade their backup tight end. But first, we begin with some news here on Titans Today. I am Will Scott. Bud Dupree pleads guilty to a misdemeanor assault on Monday. It happened at a drugstore earlier this offseason. He has pleaded guilty. That coming earlier today. Let's talk about Jeffery Simmons now, because there is some buzz around the Chat Sports office that Jeffery Simmons might want an Aaron Donald type of deal. He wants to become one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid, defender in the league. And when you're looking at the Donald deal, yes, that is a lot of money. I don't know if he's going to get 30 plus million, but he deserves something in that range, maybe north of $25 million, because if you do not pay him that, someone else will, and you want this guy to stay happy. You do not want him to request a trade. We've seen players request trades this offseason. We don't want Jeffery Simmons to do that next offseason when he may be looking for an extension. Of course, the Titans picked up his fifth-year option earlier this offseason. Here is what he has done throughout his career. 135 tackles in his career. He's coming off, by far, the best season of his 3-year career, a former first-round pick out of Mississippi State. 8.5 sacks, 12 tackles for loss, 54 tackles, 6 pass breakups, really solidified himself as one of the best interior defensive linemen in the National Football League. Now, what would an extension look like if you were to extend him? Well, there's a pretty big gap between the first highest paid and the second highest paid interior defensive lineman. Aaron Donald making north of $30 million. DeForest Buckner, $21 million. Same deal for Leonard Williams. Chris Jones making $20 million in Kansas City. Jonathan Allen in Washington, $18 million per year. So you're definitely going to have to pay him more than DeForest, but maybe because Aaron Donald got more than 30, maybe Simmons would want something similar to what Donald got earlier this offseason from the Rams. Tennessee, got to pay this guy. Seriously, pay Jeffery Simmons. He is one of the best defenders in the league. He is still very, very young. He's just now hitting his prime. Pay him. Do not trade him like you did A.J. Brown. You do not want to trade A.J. Brown. So I don't want you to get cheap again and not pay Simmons, have him request a trade, and he's out the door. That cannot happen. If you want to stay a contender, you have to pay your top players. Now, how much is Simmons worth per year? Go down in the comments section and let me know. Is he worth $25 million a year? Is he worth $30 million a year? Is he worth more than Aaron Donald got? $31.6 million a year. Go down. Let me know. I would say somewhere around $26 to $27 million per year. He's happy in Tennessee. Tennessee's very happy with the way he started his career. So I feel like if you were to give him somewhere around $26, $27 million a year, that should be enough to get him to stay in Tennessee long term. I would do that in a heartbeat if I'm Simmons, and I would do that in a heartbeat if I'm the Tennessee Titans. He might look, though, at $30 million plus per year, because when you are looking at some of these younger guys, and, you know, we're going to have wide receivers here like Jamar Chase wanting Tyreek Hill type of money. We're going to want quarterbacks, young quarterbacks like Joe Burrow, maybe wanting Patrick Mahomes type of money. Everybody wants to be the highest paid guy. They want more than what the last guy got. So it might be a similar situation with Simmons. Again, let's revisit what he did last season. You're talking about one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league. Even going into his 4th year, he has already established himself as that. 8.5 sacks, 6 pass breakups, 12 tackles for loss, 54 tackles. One of, he's really the heart and soul of that Titans defense, quite frankly. I think he deserves the money. I think he deserves to be one of the highest paid. And we did see the NFL Top 100, at least the first half of it, released last night. He ranked number 54 on the top 100. I would have ranked him a little bit higher than that, but at least he's getting some recognition by his fellow players. Now, help us get to 5,000 subscribers before week 1. That is the goal here at Titans Today. We're trying to hit a milestone before the regular season next month. We need 623 more subscribers. Help us get there. Go down, hit that big red subscribe button, because we're bringing you multiple Titans videos talking about Titans news, rumors, post-game reaction videos each and every single week. The season is coming up. You want to stay ready. Go down, subscribe to the channel. Let's talk about some quarterbacks. Always love talking quarterbacks here on Titans Today. And is Ryan Tannehill on the hot seat going into 2022, coming off of a pretty mediocre 2021 season? And the Titans drafted Malik Willis in the 3rd round, someone who is a first-round talent who had no business falling all the way to the 3rd round. Titans got an absolute steal, one of, if not the biggest steals in the entire draft. Now, USA Today posted an article saying that one stat that matters for each NFL team, no surprise, the stat that mattered for Tennessee was this: 11 Ryan Tannehill interceptions last season. Massive problem. As we all know, the Tannehill turnovers were happening every game. It was a big problem for the Titans, and it cost them ultimately in the postseason as well. Here is what USA Today said about Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill has been a great quarterback in the past, and it's a pretty recent past, but the time to turn things back around is now. Tannehill carries a $57.4 million dead cap charge in 2022. So he's not going anywhere, but another off year could have the Titans looking elsewhere as the finances become more manageable. Perhaps to Malik Willis, the Liberty star they took in the 3rd round of the 2022 NFL Draft. We can all agree, I think, at least most of us, that Malik Willis is the future franchise quarterback of this team. Even when they drafted him in the 3rd round, I felt like that. I feel like that even more now after his debut. He looked very solid in his debut. 6 for 11, over 100 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Let's take a look at what Tannehill did last season. 14 interceptions, 21 touchdowns, over 3,700 yards, a 67.2 completion percentage. QBR not great at 55.9. And I felt like a lot of times watching this Titans team last season, I should say, that had a really solid defense led by Jeffery Simmons, that had a really solid run game led by Derrick Henry. Obviously, he missed a lot of last season, but still, you have one of the best defenses in the AFC. You have arguably the best running back in the game. But what holds this team back a lot, more often than not, is Ryan Tannehill. And maybe that is why this is a make-or-break year for Ryan, because you drafted Malik Willis, who, in my opinion, was the best quarterback in that draft class, and you get him in the 3rd round. That is why this is a make-or-break year for Ryan Tannehill. He has to step up. He has to lead this team to a division title. He might even have to lead this team to a playoff win to keep his job. Now, pick a QB. Is it going to be Ryan Tannehill for you? Type RT. Or is it Malik Willis? Type MW down in the comment section. This year, it's obviously going to be Tannehill. But after this year, I think Malik Willis is the quarterback of the future in Nashville. Let's talk about Swaim, because Bleacher Report posted an article about one player each team should put on the trade block. BR said Geoff Swaim, the backup tight end on this team. You obviously have Austin Hooper as the starting tight end. He's going to get most of the targets among these tight ends, but you draft Chig Okonkwo, and Chig has looked phenomenal. The 4th-round pick out of Maryland has been very, very good in training camp. Looked good in the opener as well. Not everyone on the screen is going to make the team. They'll probably carry 3 to 4 tight ends, and so maybe that makes some sense to trade Swaim, kind of clear up that tight end room, some of the question marks surrounding the tight end depth chart right now. Here's what Bleacher Report said. The 2 new faces could push the remaining incumbent out, as Ferkser already signed with the Atlanta Falcons as a free agent. Swaim could find himself in a new uniform soon as well if Tennessee is happy with Hooper as tight end 1 and Chig's development behind him, and I couldn't agree more. This makes a lot of sense to trade Geoff Swaim. And I don't know if Tennessee would be willing to trade him in the division. But the Houston Texans tried to trade for Adam Shaheen last week. Shaheen lands in Houston and fails his physical. Lovie Smith even said after the fact that, yeah, that was a little bit disappointing. I don't know how I feel about our tight end room. Well, if I'm the Texans, I don't know how I feel about a lot of areas on that team, but the tight end room is certainly a weakness in Houston, so maybe they would be a team interested in trading for Swaim. But look, the deeper we get into training camp, the more preseason games that are played, there's going to be more injuries. There's going to be more openings on teams, perhaps. Swaim might be better off competing for a roster spot elsewhere after a 3-touchdown season last year in Tennessee. Should the Titans trade Geoff Swaim? Go down in the comments section and type Y for yes or type in for no. Chime in down below. Some training camp notes to hit on before we go. We got some injury updates to report. Here is who did not practice today. Chris Jackson, Amani Hooker, Theo Jackson, Danico Autry, Mason Kinsey, all out of practice today, and it was a bad day for this offense. The offense really struggled based on some of the reports that we saw, this coming from Paul Kuharsky. Disappointing afternoon for Titans wide receivers. A lot of deep ball chances, no real payoff. Ryan Tannehill threw some good ones, some scrambles, poor separation, maybe some confusion by Racey McMath. Burks, Phillips, all included. Fitzgerald have had some better days. So that coming from Paul Kuharsky talking about today's practice. Offense did not look good. The good news is the defense did look good. This came from Teron Davenport on Twitter. Kevin Byard, play recognition, love to see it. Had number 3 on trips. Came off the outbreaking RTE, broke up a deeper outbreaking RTE to other wide receivers from Ryan Tannehill. Caleb Farley, good day. 2 pass breakups, sticky coverage on broken plays. 2 minimum pass breakups on back-to-back PBUs versus Racey McMath. So the defense, pretty solid. What else is solid is this deal we're giving you on a Real One shirt. And if you're a Real One, I know a lot of y'all typed Real One down in the comments earlier. This is the shirt that you need to order right now. Chatsports.com/Real One. You can get it in red. You can get it in blue. That's kind of a Titans color right there. You can also get it purple as well. A lot of different colors to choose from. Chatsports.com/Real One. If you're a Real One, go get a Real One shirt at that link below.